Okay, we are recording. So officially, welcome to Monday nights. I went through and went through some of the objections that you guys are listing in our group chat. Just went through and put them in a little bit of a slide like we've been doing just to be able to talk through them. I want you guys to drop stuff in the chat. If you have questions about anything, unmute yourself and talk through this together. If you guys have things that you know are working, or if you have questions and want me to kind of expound upon this. I actually went back through my chats. I have one really super sweet friend that I went to college with, one of my best friends, and I've been out of college for 14, 15 years almost now. And so I went back through because when I started this, she was one of the very first people that I messaged. And I always use her as an example because now, like 5 years into this, I've had a ton of experience, right, with messaging people and wording and different things that I have found that work best. And I want you guys to see where I started from. And I pretty much made every mistake that you can make in messaging with my first message to her. And so I want you guys to know that no matter where you're at with this, wherever you feel like you are, I know that sometimes we go through some of this stuff and then I get messages afterwards and people are like, oh my gosh, I am doing this all wrong. There is no wrong in this. There is growth and there is learning, right? And I think that from every single message that we send to people, we get to look at it as an opportunity. Like we're not starting over, right? We're just starting with more knowledge with every single person that we talk to on this journey. And no matter what you decide to do, like if you want to message just a couple of people in a month about this, that's perfect. If you want to make it your goal to add 10 new people to your Facebook list a day and scream this from the mountaintops, that's perfect too. But make sure that you're doing it with heart and that you're doing it from a genuine place. And I think that that is the biggest thing that I see on this. And so I just kind of want to walk through some of this with you guys, things that I see. Like I said, there is no right or wrong. There is just learning, and there's different vocabulary that you can use with people that works, right? Because here's the thing, we all know what it is like to get messages from those people that we know we're being sold to, right? Mina and I were just talking about this week because she got another message from somebody that was like trying to recruit her basically to her team and started out with the cheesiest message about a dinner option and then jumped right in to try to get her on a page to sell products. Guys, like this wasn't even somebody that she knew. So you know right away that that person is just trying to recruit you and doesn't actually care about you, right? And that feels slimy. And one of the things that I love the most about Plexus and that I really honestly feel like and know that we are network marketing done the right way. And Plexus sets us up to be able to do it the right way. Because if you even just look on this call, very few of you are on the same team, right? Like we're all in one big team, but you're sidelines and there is no competition with you, right? We don't have minimums that we have to get to. We don't have like, we know how the end of the month comes, right? And we have goals and that's fine. But we don't have to meet a certain criteria to be able to keep our Plexus status. There are some companies where like if you don't have so many sales by the end of the month, you don't get your discounts, statuses completely. Like that doesn't happen with us. So when you're going into this, always go into it from a place of want to help other people. And I know that you do, but never, ever, ever forget why you start this, because I think that then is when sometimes it like feels like we're hungry for something, right? And people can pick up on that. Okay, let me share. If you guys can, I just want to make sure everybody's muted up first, just while we're going through. Okay, let me screen share. All right. I can see Jean and Aaron. Can you guys see my screen okay? Perfect. Okay. Here's the thing. And this has just been like the last couple of months that I've really, really like grasped this concept for myself. And this is 5 years into this for me, right? Overcoming objections from people. We know when we start this and we really want people to like join Plexus with us and get the products that we feel hungry for it. At least I do. It's like I hear somebody talking about headaches or having low energy or their stomachs being completely off. And I just want to be like, girl, order the Plexus. Like it will change your life. Just do this already. And I want to like verbal vomit on them. Right. And in my mind, I know now what Plexus has done for my family. Like I hear somebody sneezing repeatedly and I just want to be like, hey, here's my daughter Riley. This is what it's done for her. Order the probiotics. You need the vitamin. You need the BioCleanse. I want you to take it at, like, I want to tell them everything, right? Well, they don't know why. Like they haven't fully connected to it. And so overcoming objections and getting people to understand Plexus, they are not saying no to you. They really aren't. And they're not even saying no to Plexus. They just don't understand yet what it is. And here's the biggest thing, guys. People don't know that they are worth it. And that's a huge thing in what we do. It is not overcoming the no, it is helping the person that we are talking to understand that there is something that's better, right? And understanding that we don't have to live sick and tired and that you're worth feeling good in your days. How many of us, I mean, really drop this in the chat if this was you, thought before we started Plexus, I always have to deal with headaches. I'm always just going to be tired because I'm a mom. I'm just going to be overweight because this is the time of my life and I just don't have any extra time to work out. I'm always going to be alone in how I'm feeling because we don't want to talk about it and we tell every single person that we're fine. Right? How many of us felt like that? I know I did. And sometimes it's hard for us to go back to that place. At least sometimes it is for me, because now I feel really good. I love where I'm at, right? It's hard for me sometimes to put myself back into that place where I couldn't walk up and down the stairs with my daughter. Number one, because I don't want to go back there, but I also feel really good with where I'm at right now. And it's really important for me when I'm talking to somebody that's new to go back to that place where I feel like that's just life. Like I'm always going to have to deal with that stuff. So our number one goal in what we're doing with Plexus is to help people see that there's a better way, right? That they're worth investing in their health. Because in our country, we learn and we're bombarded with this from every single television commercial, every ad on Facebook that like, oh, hey, you have a headache. Let's just mask it for the day. Let's just get through the day. Guys, you jump on Pinterest or Etsy, what shirts do you see for every single mom? They say tired as a mother, right? Like it's our mantra that we always have to be tired. So we have to combat that for people and we have to help them know that they're completely worth it. Okay, overcoming objections. You can get good at doing this and overcoming those objections before they're ever brought up. And I'm going to walk you guys through some of this and kind of how I do it. Everybody has a different way. I am not saying what I do is the only way. I want you to take this and I want you to make it yours. And you might listen to what I have to say and be like, Bree, that sounds crazy. And that's not how I want to do this. And guess what? It's your business. So you don't have to do it exactly how I do it. But this is what I've found that has worked really well for me over the last 5 years. Avoid the verbal vomit. And I'm going to show you an example of this, but it is really, really important. 90% of your conversation should be about them and only 10% about you. Because what ends up happening is this. Somebody says, hey, what is Plexus and what do we do? And I'm going to show you. I would say, oh my gosh, I have been able to get over my Hashimoto's. I'm no longer on medication. I'm not going to the doctor's office anymore and having my joints strained. I'm not having terrible anxiety at night before I go to bed. My daughter is off of all of her allergy medication. My kids haven't been to the doctor in 5 years. My husband has lost weight. I have extra energy. I'm no longer having my migraines. Guess what? That's great. But guess what? Most people don't care, right? Most people want to know what it's going to do for them. And if we spend all this time telling some
Downstairs.
about, let me make sure, just 1 second.
What? What?
Okay. If we spend all of that time telling people about what it's going to do for us or what it did for them, we lose them because they ultimately want to know what it's going to do for them and their family. Three-way messaging. I cannot stress this enough. Courtney, you're on my screen right now. Courtney is somebody that has been with me for 5 years. She was one of the very first people that joined, and she will tell you that I never put her in a three-way message. Most of you guys know this. I don't have an active upline. So the people that joined me early on, I didn't have anybody to put in a three-way message, right? And so she never learned, I guess if that's what you want to say, to put anybody in a three-way message. It was completely foreign to us. And so when I started hearing about all of this stuff with three-way messaging and how amazing it was, I was like, well, that seems really weird. Like any three-way message I've ever been in, it's like me trying to sell something and somebody trying to like be convinced. And I just don't know if I want to do that. And I would think, because in just probably the last year, we have really picked up on this. And I think that Courtney will tell you that three-way messages, going from not using them to using them, has completely changed our businesses because it is the extra support that people need, right? And so we're going to talk through a little bit about three-way messages and why they are so important. We're also going to talk a little bit about videos and why you always want to use a video whenever you can, and then having confidence. You will not go into every single message that you are going to send with people with confidence. You won't. Sometimes you're going to be really, really nervous, but guess what? People pick up on it. So you like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it, and you just go in like you know exactly what you're talking about and that you have all the confidence in the world, because guess what? They don't know if you don't know what you're talking about. They don't know all the ingredients in ProBio 5, and most likely they don't care. So if you have a fear of people having you ask questions that you don't know, that's why three-way messaging is really important. But guess what? You don't need to know everything. And that's what's really, really amazing about this, is that you get to have that confidence piece. Let me shut my door really, really quick because my kids are up here now. See, beauty of this business. Okay, here's my top tips for you guys. You are not a brain surgeon, and no one is bleeding out on your table. I cannot stress this enough. Jill Renfro, amazing, amazing diamond in the company. I was talking to her one day about some stuff. I was just feeling like super overwhelmed that every single time somebody sent me a message, I needed to answer it right back. And I felt like I was attached to my phone, and there were group messages blowing up. And I felt like if I left them go for 30 minutes, I would come back to 500 messages and I would be completely lost. Anybody ever feel like that? We all do, right? Because let's be honest, I am blowing up your notifications during the day. You're getting like Brianne Coolidge, For the Love of Pink, Brianne Coolidge, Health and Happiness Lounge, Brianne Coolidge, Momentum Movers, right? I get it. But you do not have to be up on every single thing. And I can do tons of tips on that. But from every single message that you send to people, you are already teaching them how to do this business. I cannot tell you enough how important that is, because here's a scenario that I see happen a lot for people. They put somebody in a three-way message, or somebody messages them about Plexus, and you answer them right back. That's great. But then at 11 o'clock at night, I found myself still answering messages for people. Guess what I was teaching them? That at 11 o'clock at night, they still needed to be up answering messages. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, they needed to be up answering messages. That's not time freedom. You're not a brain surgeon and no one is bleeding out. You do not have to answer every single message and check every single notification right away. You guys see me do this. I pre-schedule things in our team page. I'm not up at 7 o'clock posting in our team page. I pre-schedule them. I'm blessed enough now, we have a team assistant. She helps me with messages, right? You are not a brain surgeon and you don't have to answer every single message. That being said, you don't want messages to go for days and days. You don't want people to think that you don't care about them. But if somebody isn't available to answer a question right then, it's okay. Just simply tell them, hey, the beauty of this business and the beauty of this opportunity is that we get time freedom with our families. When they get done, they will hop back in and they will help you through with it. So we'll just give them a little bit of time to get into the message. That doesn't mean that you need to add, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, that doesn't mean that you need to add 72 other people into a group conversation, right? We'll talk a little bit about that. Always remember why you started this and that every single message that you send, you're teaching them about the business. Because your ultimate goal, right, is to help people with the products, but you also want to help them see that this opportunity is amazing. And if you're answering every message back in 5 seconds of when they get on, no matter what time of day it is, no matter what day of the week it is, you're teaching them that they have to do that too. And that's not time freedom, believe me. I had people that joined me very early on and they were like, man, and they flat out told me, I don't want to do, again, Mina and I just had this conversation. She's like, I don't want to do what you do because you're always on your phone. And this was months and months ago when we were having some breakthrough conversations. But I was like, I'm not always on my phone. Like when you get notifications from me, I pre-schedule them in. Sunday night, I sit down, I map out what it looks like for our team page. I pre-schedule them in about an hour and a half for the entire week. I'm not always on my phone at noon. I want to be off adventuring with my kids. Okay. Here's the example of the first message that I sent to one of my girlfriends from college. Just listen to this. Hey, completely random, but I was talking to a few people tonight and thought of you. I started selling, in quotes, these probiotics because basically because I started giving them to the kids and Derek and I take them. It's been amazing for us for allergies and sickness. One of my friends started taking them because it's supposed to help with stomach issues and hosts of other things. She was telling me tonight how much better she feels and how nice it's been. Reminded me of you and how much you used to hate dealing with that. Clearly not a sales pitch because I hate getting messages like this from people. And sadly, I don't even know if this is something you deal with anymore since it's been so long, but couldn't not message. Hope the end of summer is going well. And then I just went on and on and on about stuff that's going on. Guys, now looking back at that message, she never responded to me. Shocker. She never wrote anything back to me after I sent all of that to her. And I'm going to kind of pick this apart with you. But had I got something like that from people, there are so many key words in that. Number one, when I talked about having confidence with people, if somebody sent me a message and said, hey, completely random, is that message thought out and like, hey, I want to change your life? No, it's like, hey, it's really random that I thought of you today. Like, no, I don't want people to think that it's random that I think about them. It's the same, and I love what Plexus does, but I know that there's a Plexus message that's floating around that's like, hey, I don't know if this is for you or not. I don't love that because I want people to know, like, man, this is for you. Go in with confidence, right? And then where I said, like, I hate when people send me messages like this. Like, what? Don't say that. Learn from my mistakes with this. If you get a message that's like, hey, I hate messages like this, but I want you to love it. Like, No, they're not going to love the message. I'm already telling them that they should hate it, right? We're not just selling things, we change lives. And when we go in with confidence and we can say instead, hey, I was thinking about just you today. How much more special does that make somebody sound than, hey, completely random that I thought about you today? Like, that doesn't make anybody feel special. So have confidence when you go into the conversation with them. Oh, too far. Okay. 90% them, 10%, or yeah, 90% them, 10% you. Guys, there was no room for her to answer back in this. Does anybody notice that I don't even ask her a question? There was no room for her to like where would you even begin in a message like this? And maybe your messages aren't quite this verbal vomit, but I'm challenging you. If you have people that you're following up with, go back through and do an honest assessment of the messages that you're sending to people. And if you want to, I had my husband do this for me when I first started because I didn't have somebody to really send those messages to. I would have him look at them and tell me what I should do differently. Like, what would throw you off about that message just with the wording? Because there was nowhere in here did I really ever ask her a question. I was just rambling on and on and on with no room for her to ever jump in. Okay. Three-way messages from right away. When somebody messages you and asks you about plexus, or they respond back from a message that you have sent to them and say that they want more information, you can screenshot this. I use this all the time with people. And you just simply say, I don't even ask people if they want in a three-way. I just say, one of the things that I love the most about Plexus is the support that we get. I'm going to add you to a three-way with my friend Jean, Aaron, Wendy, Shannon. And then we'll see if this is a fit for you. And then you simply just introduce them, right? Hey, this is my friend Bree. She's had amazing success with the products. And we just want to make sure that one of us is here to help you every single step of the way. And you do it right away so that somebody is always there, not always, but somebody is there to answer questions and keep it super simple. When I said who on this, who do you add to the three-way? You add your direct sponsor, unless your direct sponsor isn't somebody that's super active or they have a crazy busy schedule and can't keep up on stuff. When I say simplicity is key, it really is key. Imagine that you have like just one or two people at dinner talking to you about stuff, and then all of a sudden like 4 or 5 more people come. What happens to the conversation a lot of times? It gets a little bit weird, right? Especially if you're the one that kind of feels like you're in the spotlight. So if you have one person in the conversation and then all of a sudden like maybe they can't contribute right away. I don't know why there's writing on there. That's weird. And then you add somebody else in, and then you add somebody else in, and then you add somebody else in. They feel like, number one, nobody knows what they're doing. And then number two, they feel completely bombarded and like it's really overwhelming. So start with just your immediate sponsor, unless you're just getting going with this, and then you can add two. Okay. I know it's already almost 9:30. So use videos when possible. I'll just kind of go through this really quick. Instead of saying everything that I said in that, if you see on the left-hand side how long that message is, any time that you can take that and you can make it simplified. So instead of that whole long verbal vomit, simply saying, hey, I'd love to share something with you that's working so well for me right now. And I know that we talked about stomach issues, headaches, migraines, whatever it is that you've been going through. I'm going to send you a quick video to watch in your timing, and then let me know what you think. Some people say that you should ask if they want to see the video. Guess what most people don't do? They never ask to watch the video because most people don't realize that they actually can get help, right? It's back to that very first thing that we talked about with people not understanding their worth. Guess what happens if you send them a video? You send them the triplex video, you send them the microbiome video. Have y'all ever gotten something from a friend that you haven't wanted to click on and see what it is? Right? Like, especially if there's a personalized message with it. We are click happy. They will click on it and they will start watching it. And then you can do the follow-up. I don't ask people to send a video, I just send it so that I know that they at least have it, and then it gets their wheels turning. So the next time they're sick and tired in bed at night, guess who they're going to think of? Me, because I sent them that video and they got to watch it. Okay. Last one, cost objections and follow-ups. I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through this because I know that a lot of you have heard me say this before. But cost objections and any kind of objection starts from the very beginning. When you very first ask them what their goals are with Plexus, first question, when somebody says, hey, what is Plexus? You give them like a 1 or 2 word response, or you can send them the microbiome video. And then the next thing that you should say, even if they ask you, what are the prices? You say, hey, we love to customize this for you. What are your top 2 to 3 goals that you have? What are your top 2 to 3 health goals? Always, always, always start there. Then before you send them anything, don't send them another video, send them nothing until you ask them what they're doing to get those goals currently. Because they are already spending the money, right? If they tell you that they're having migraines 5 times a week, they're spending money on something to get rid of that pain. If they tell you that they have crazy energy crashes and they can't keep their eyes open, they're spending money on coffee drinks, they're spending money on Red Bulls. Or guess what? If they're not spending the money on it, they're sleeping their days away and they're losing even more in time value. Right? We can all relate to this stuff. If you're on this call, you know the investment in Plexus is worth it every single day because you have your life back. And that's what you want to get them to connect to at the very start of the conversation. Then you send them a video based on their goal, and you do this in the 3-way conversation, right? Send them a video based on their goal. And then you talk through price with them. We have 2 amazing options. And I tell them about preferred, and then I tell them about ambassador. And if they say something about cost, guess what I get to go back to? Hey, I know at the beginning of this, you told me that you are spending X, Y, and Z on energy drinks, on medication, on co-pays because your kids are always sick. Will you trust me and lock arms with me for 60 days and let me help you spend money on something that is going to help you feel better instead of on something that's going to keep masking your sickness? That is the main thing that you need to help people identify with and see their worth with, right? Most people, if you can break down, and now I get it, guys, there are very real crises right now, right? People not having paychecks, people not being able to go to work. I get that completely. But if you can help people see that the money that they're spending daily, if somebody walked into a convenience store and they bought their snack and their soda in one lump sum for every day for the month, they would be spending way more than they would be spending on Plexus in 90% of the cases. But it's because they're spending $3 at a time that they don't see it that way. So if you can break that down for them, that is huge for people to be able to see. And if people tell you that they really can't afford it, then do not shy away from this. Courtney and I were talking about this today. This is something that so many people need for this opportunity. And ultimately, you want to grow a team of people that are sharing this opportunity, right? Because just as much, and I am living, breathing proof of this, just as much as people need these products, we need this opportunity. Guys, if COVID would have happened for our family, if this would have happened 5 years ago before we started Plexus, there is no way we would have been able to make it through. Farming is completely controlled by the government. I didn't have a job. I was selling decals on Etsy to help pay for our groceries. We never would have been able to make up payments for houses and cars or anything with 3 kids. This opportunity has absolutely 100% saved us. And I will never shy away from sharing that with people. And it does not have to start with saying, hey, start posting on Facebook. Let's get you silver. Let's go senior silver. It simply starts with saying, do you know of anybody when you watch those videos that need the extra energy, or that you've talked to about the same issues that you've been dealing with headaches? You know, my mom was the first person that joined with me. I'll give them examples of that. Because when you start Plexus, you get a referral link. And having 3 friends and family start with you is $300 back. That's their first introduction to the business. And now they've already gotten to see how easy it is because you've simply been sending over videos and you put them in a 3-way chat. And it handles those objections before they even get started so that people can really see what that's about. Okay, I'm going to open up the chat. If anybody has any questions, will you unmute yourself and go ahead and ask them, or jump them in the chat? Ashley, I'm glad that you said that. Some people will not respond in a 3-way chat, and that's okay. I've had some people that will never, ever, ever respond in a 3-way chat, and then all of a sudden they have a question and they'll jump in with them. It is so much better, I feel like, for people to know that that option is there than to never give it to them. And if they stop responding in a 3-way, then you just go and do what I call a wellness check. And I'm glad that you said this. So you just hop out of that 3-way chat and just message them personally and just say, hey, I've been thinking about you and I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. I just want to know if you're okay. Don't mention Plexus. Just in general, do a check-in on them, because that's ultimately what you want, right? We're not just selling products to them. People need to know that we genuinely care.
At this point, the sheer magnitude of it.
Okay. Nobody has any questions? It was that good? Terry, go ahead.
You were saying not to shy away from cost objections.
Yep.
Had a couple lately, and some others on my team have. What do you do to try to overcome that, or what do you say?
I think that that's good question, Terry. I think that that's why it's really super important to know what they're doing at the beginning, right? So if you can get their health goals and you can help them to see what they're already doing. But I also think, guys, that it's really important to remember that not every single person needs to start as an ambassador, right? Like not every single person needs to spend $100 right away. And here's the thing, if they're not willing to, if they can't fit it into their budget to do that, and they don't want to do the business opportunity, start them with a bottle of ProBio. You know, start them with a bag of Active and start them as a preferred customer. Because they probably can then fit in a bag of Active, or they, you know, match it up with their goal. If they want the extra energy and they want the weight loss, start them with MetaBurn. Get them feeling good on something to see their worth, and to see that it can start. And I'm upfront with them about it then. You know, like you might not reach all of your goals, but I want to help you get started now instead of waiting. So if somebody can't, I always start high. I start with a $199 pack. I match them to their goal. I say like, hey, you know, I just did this today with the girl that I was signing up. Here's a $199 pack. This is the best bang for your buck for all of your goals. But here's also two $99 packs. And so if you don't want to do that one when all of the extra savings, we can pick one of these for you. I always start high and I give them the smaller option because then they get to see, well, the $199 pack really is the best option. But if they can't do either of those, then I drop down and I'm always telling them about the business opportunity and the sharing. But then I also tell them about, you know, hey, if you want a vitamin, like you can buy a vitamin and it's the best one there is. So I think that that's the biggest thing, Terry. Did that help? Don't have them feel like they have to invest fully. Get them started with something, get them consistent on it, and then move up. But a lot of times it just comes down to people not realizing, you know, everyone should be on a multivitamin. So then it's not about if they should be, it's why they need Plexus. Are there any objections that you guys get that we didn't talk about? And I know that it's 9:30, so don't feel, I know that it's late if you guys need to jump off. I love that there were 30 of you on here tonight. But I also want to be aware of your time and knowing that it's late too for a Monday night.